what is it psychologically that people find Batman and Batman's rogues so much more fascinating than any other hero and their villains? I mean, Spider-Man has a very colorful rogue gallery, as we know. Vulture, got Kraven, you got all kinds. Superman got legendary ones. We have Zod, Lex Luthor, Metallo, Darkseid. But what is it about Superman? I mean, I'm sorry. See, it's Comic-Con again, you guys. I'm so tired. What is it about Batman and Batman's villains?
Batman and all his enemies are defined by their psychology. It's Superman and Spider-Man, their enemies are defined first by whatever power or weird look they have in terms of what it's related to their power. Sandman turns into sand. You're trying to define it. It's like, what is this guy? The first thing you say is he turns into sand. Dr. Octopus, what's the first thing you say in defining him? Well, he's got these extra tentacle things that let him go around with 8. It's the Penguin. What defines him? He robs and he looks like a penguin and points an umbrella at people. It's okay, that doesn't sound as much. But Riddler, he sends riddles. The Joker, he has this bizarre sense of humor that he brings into what he's doing. Poison Ivy, before she developed such incredible superpowers, she was defined by her ecological interest. Ra's al Ghul, different kind of ecological interest.
Yes.
I know they say Ra's al Ghul in the movie. It's Denny O'Neil says Ra's al Ghul, and Batman the Animated Series says Ra's al Ghul. Go by Batman the Animated Series when in doubt. Most of you should understand that. It's these one character after another. Even Mr. Freeze, the guy with the cold gun. Now, he used to be just a gimmick guy with a cold gun. He did not become particularly interesting until Paul Dini brought in, this psychology to that character that turned him from, a D-list, supervillain into perhaps the most poignant Batman villain of them all. It's all of them. They're defined by their powers. Batman has enemies that reflect and distort aspects of himself. He's grim and dark, so his most important enemy is bright and laughing. He'll kill you with a joke. The Penguin, he wants to be high society. He's going around this outfit. He doesn't actually wear a regular costume. He's always dressed like he's some old-timey high society fella with this top hat that makes him taller and that umbrella that can make him feel even taller. He's compensating for aspects of himself. He had the Penguin has the high society wannabe that Bruce Wayne is high society. The Mr. Freeze with that cold aspect of himself. Batman projects a cold aspect of himself. The Scarecrow, very much so. It's like he and Batman both are, trying to instill fear in others and master their own fears. And it's, where Batman is instilling them in the criminals, the Scarecrow is instilling them in the good citizens of Gotham. So there's this complexity of relationships that will fascinate individuals. The old Batman TV series with Adam West, nobody had superpowers. No, nobody had superpowers. With the George Reeve TV series Superman, it's a bit silly for all these people with no superpowers to even be able to fill half an hour of giving him trouble. With the Batman series, nobody had superpowers. These were people in costumes doing bizarre things. They were defined by their behaviors. Even in that show. I mean, Adam West did say to me, I was like, we were superficial. What did we know? But the characters in that show still reflects what's popular in others. I mean, my chapter that comes second in the book is titled "Which Batman?" You got to go, and that is something people ask me a lot too. It's like, which Batman are you talking about? Is it Golden Age, Silver Age, Bronze Age, Modern Age? Is it Michael Keaton, Christian Bale, Adam West? Pre-crisis, post-crisis, post-Zero Hour, post-Infinite Crisis, post-Flashpoint. It's all of them. It is. For all the variety and all the differences, there's a common thread. He is the guy who puts on the bat suit to go fight crime in the night. He is the billionaire who funds this relentless campaign of his. He's the boy who saw his parents murdered in front of his eyes. Those key elements are there no matter what. Even in the Hanna-Barbera cartoon where they didn't talk about the murder of his parents, There's nothing to contradict it, and the character's like, it's still there. The Adam West show, they talked about it. It came up twice, at least twice in the series. Both times he refers to when dastardly criminals killed my parents. And they've still got to throw in that dastardly to set the tone of what they're doing. That drives him. Those elements are there no matter what. It's like conflicting legends of Robin Hood. There's so many different versions, but if he doesn't, fire an arrow and steal from the rich, he's not Robin Hood. Whether he's giving to the poor or not, that might vary a little, but he still has to fire an arrow and steal from the rich to be Robin Hood. He's not wielding a gun and robbing banks. That's not Robin Hood. Batman is Bruce Wayne. I gave a talk at Berkeley a couple of springs ago, while Dick Grayson in the comics was wearing the Batman costume while people thought Bruce was dead. And something I said stuck with one of the students who said at the end, so you sound like you don't like Dick as Batman. It's like, I'm enjoying the stories of Dick as Batman, especially the one where he's interacting with this tough little Robin of Damian. But he's not Batman. He's not Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne will be back in that costume. It won't take long. If he's not Bruce Wayne, he's Dick Grayson in Batman costume.
No, that's very true. And I think Batman's one of the most. I think it was like a British website or magazine that named Batman the most complex fictional character of modern history. And I think, especially for like a foreign country to say that, I think that's very, very true because there's so many sides of him. And I think that's something that needs to be remembered. I know there's a Catwoman issue after she has her baby, pre-reboot, you guys.
Yeah.
She
no longer has the baby.
She's younger.
Damian should just thank his lucky stars he still exists, considering how many DC Universe kids retroactively don't exist. Anyway, back to Catwoman and her baby. Pre-reboot.
But it kind of just brought it back because we always see Batman as kind of like this badass guy who's just out taking out criminals. But I guess he's holding her kid, and she's watching him as Batman. And she's like, most people forget that at the end of the day, this is him. This is what he does, and he's rocking and he's like talking to the baby. And I think it pulls a lot of readers back because for a long time I completely forgot about that. Like what I know he stands for good, but like he's actually fighting for kids, fighting for all these things. We see him as more of like all these villains, and I just think it's absolutely a great story to bring back.
Yeah, plenty of writers take the approach that the main thing he wants to do is hit the bad guys. That's in there. But the main thing he wants to do, if you look at how he was written by the creators and by the writers who know him the very best, his purpose is not first to hit the bad guys, is to keep somebody else from suffering what he went through. If he has a choice between stop that criminal and save this person from falling off the bridge, where he's going. He's going to get that person off the bridge. The Punisher, you're not sure which way he's going. Batman, he's going to save that innocent person first, because that is his first purpose. In his underlying emotions, that other purpose is pretty darn powerful too, and it drives him as well. I'm not saying it's not there, but the first thing he wants to do is keep somebody else from going through the horrible thing he went through. That's part of why Dick Grayson got his attention immediately, because this is somebody who went through the horrible thing he went through at about the same age. And it even says in there, he thinks back to when, it's like he was a child. And then 2 panels later, he tells Dick Grayson, I went through the same thing when I was a child, almost word for word to the narrative.
And where can we find you in the future? Virtually, where do we find you? Website? And then you're at Comic-Con now.
Yes.
Where's the next convention? Where can we find you? Many, many people love the Batman Rogues Gallery panel. It happens every year. And so people love Batman. They will hunt down anyone that knows people about, more about Batman than they think they do. Where can people find you to hunt you down and have like a really good psychological showdown or just discussion?
Well, I'm going to go to New York Comic-Con. I know that one, but in between, I'm not sure. You find me on Twitter as Superheroologist. Not superheroologist. There's one O there. Superheroologist. I always have friends who'll say superheroologist, and then I'll see them write it correctly. Okay. So Twitter, over 20,000 followers on Twitter as superheroologist. I don't know why it's that many. I've got a superheroologist.com, but right now it's just redirecting to either the Facebook page, which is facebook.com/BatmanBelfry, Or maybe it's redirecting to the Barnes and Noble page to sell the book. One of the two.
I think it's Barnes and Noble, Amazon, because I think I went on it and it redirected me, so I thought it was a virus.
No.
But I was like, no, it's not. It's a superhero book. So I went back and it was redirected again. But thank you so much for taking so much of your precious time to just come down and sit with a girl gamer and just talk about everything Batman related.
Well, thank you. I enjoy this. I like talking with somebody who comes in knowing a whole lot of these things to be able to discuss these stories.
Well, thank you. Probably not as much as you. I don't know. So I was like, oh crap. He's bringing up things from the 40s and the 50s, and I'm like backtracking, going through back issues is what we call it, and trying to like access those files to talk about it. But thank you so much. Thank you. And this is Comic-Con 2012.